An advisor, Garrett, wrote to me and said, if you've got a spare minute, I'd love your thoughts on obtaining an enrolled agent designation and offering tax preparation, mainly as a means of differentiating and getting a leg up on other advisors, and then having almost like a mini family office type offering. Thank you. So, Garrett, great question. Thanks for sending it in. And if you're watching this and you're not thinking about getting your EA, still watch it because I'm going to share 3 to 4 frameworks, thinking frameworks that you can use to evaluate any decision that you have to make and just make sure that you're making a good one. And by the way, if you've got questions that you'd like answered, reply to any of my weekly emails. And I can't promise that I'll do a video answer, but I'll do my best. So I've seen a few advisors on social media and podcasts and they're recommending getting their EA. They're telling other advisors they should get it to differentiate and do the things that Garrett had listed. And just to clarify, EA stands for enrolled agent. It's actually the highest credential that the IRS awards, even though the CPA is more recognized. And I work with 2 people who've got that designation. One of them is my business partner at our tax firm, the tax prep firm. And then the other one's an advisor at Streamline Financial. So to answer this question, I'm going to be using what I know and then also what I've learned from experience from those other EAs I know who have received that designation. There are benefits and there are negatives to the designation. And also, if you're an EA, comment below. I'd love to hear what you recommend. And also know that you've got the endowment effect bias. So I'm guessing that you're going to say it's worth it. I'm only joking. But as with any big decision, I like to run it through these thinking frameworks to see what's going to be most beneficial to myself. And you can use this too. So there's 3 to 4 that we'll run through today. So if you're thinking about getting the EA or you have another big decision coming up, get ready to take some notes. And I also recommend taking time now to make the decision because this is a big investment, right? And it's hard when we're talking about studying for any certification. So there's an opportunity cost and we want to know if it's going to be well worth it. When you think about the cost, it's going to be somewhere in terms of time, it's going to be somewhere between 6 months to a year. Often it could be longer depending on how much time you can dedicate each week. But number one, I like to start with the question of why do I want it, right? Garrett said he wants to differentiate himself. He wants to have a leg up on other advisors and then maybe have some sort of family office light offering in the future. So the mental model to use for this first one is the root cause analysis, which is really just identifying the core reasons behind the decision. The root cause that you're exploring is the desire to provide better tax planning for your clients. And the question then becomes whether obtaining the enrolled agent is necessary to achieve that goal. So here's how you can apply this framework. So we know what the objective is. We're going to write it down now. If you've got a piece of paper or notes, the question is the EA necessary to provide tax planning to clients? And then number 2 is, could you get those skills in any other ways other than doing the EA? Number 3 could be, what are the alternatives? I'll give you some alternatives coming up. So if you're thinking through this, pause the video now, write down the answers to those questions. And then when you're done with that, the next one is inversion thinking. And this is really approaching this from the other end, which means rather than asking the question, what are the reasons to become an enrolled agent? We can ask the question, what will happen if I don't become an enrolled agent? Or what are the reasons to not become an enrolled agent? And this just helps identify potential challenges that might be not immediately obvious. You know, it could be something like, will it stop me from providing good tax planning to clients? Or will clients or prospects even care if I have the EA? I don't know. There's other questions. Just think about pause it again, write down the questions that are coming to mind. The next concept to think about is that Japanese concept called ikigai. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's related to finding your purpose, but it can also be applied to this scenario too. So there's 4 circles and they're all overlapping, and it's what do you love? What are you good at? What do your clients need? And then is there a monetary financial benefit? So when you're thinking about EA, should I become an EA? Maybe you answer yes to all of those things, except for the what do you love, right? Maybe you don't love it. Maybe you don't love the studying. Maybe you don't care too much about the EA, but you like the idea of helping and doing tax planning for clients. If that's you, keep listening. I've got another concept that applies directly to this. But the next framework is the regret minimization framework. And this is one that Jeff Bezos made famous, or at least he talked about it a lot. And that involves projecting yourself out into the future and then looking back on the decision where you are right now. So the goal is to minimize the regret that you might feel about the choice that you're about to make. So Garrett, I wrote an example of what this letter might sound like. I'm going to read at the end of this video, but I want to share something very important with you. and I'm speaking to you, Garrett. So you're the owner of this business, right? You get to control many facets of the business. So as the owner, there's a powerful concept that will benefit you. And we both know that the option of what to do and how to spend your time is really unlimited. And I heard recently that strategy is allocating the limited resources that we have to the unlimited options, right? EA is one of them. So as the owner, think about applying the concept of who, not how, from Dan Sullivan. So when it comes to this goal of providing tax planning or maybe a mini family office in the future, you don't need to be the one who knows how to do it. You don't even need to be the one that does it or becomes the EA. You might be able to or can hire someone who's passionate about tax planning. Maybe they're already an EA and they can invest the hours into that. It's just something to think about as you're making this decision. So I've got the future letter here that I'll read, and it's it's weird if I wrote it as you, so I'm going to write it as me. And the goal here is just imagine yourself 1 year from now or 6 months, just choose a time period in the future. This might seem silly, but it's just a powerful exercise as if you're going to make any big decisions. So here it is. Hey, Dave, I'm writing to you on the future date, some date in the future. I chose not to pursue the EA, but instead I used that time to explore how to serve my clients related to tax planning. So I bought some books, I bought an online course on tax planning. I talked to other advisors who are EAs or who are having similar thoughts around tax planning or do this for clients, and then invested in Holistiplan or some of the other tax planning, whatever the tax planning software of your choice is. And then I also started asking my top 20 clients for their tax returns in the summer so I could start reviewing them. And I tried this for a year to see what it was like. And I'm glad I didn't commit to the EA because I saved so much time and I used that time to still serve my clients in a great way. And I also looked at hiring other advisors to study and become an EA. I interviewed 2 of them, but I decided not to hire them. Now, with all that under my belt, I'm going to reevaluate the EA now and see, should I keep doing what I'm doing or should I go ahead and get the EA or start studying? So as I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking of, did my clients love the tax planning things? Was it helpful for them? Did I love the studying part and learning about the tax planning stuff and actually having those meetings with clients? So the question now is, should I commit to the EA? So Garrett, whatever you do, make the decision and do it with all you've got, right? Not a half effort. There's a lot of wisdom in that verse that says, whatever your hands find to do it with all of your might. So if it's not worth putting everything into, it's probably not worth putting anything into. Derek Sivers says, if it's not a hell yeah, then it's a no. So I hope that was helpful. Advisors, if you've got questions, sign up for my weekly email and then reply to any of those with the questions that you have, and then subscribe and then click the bell icon so you don't miss the answers. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.